My next guest is a 6-3 record and is a UFC bantamweight fighter. Marion Reneau joins me here on the program. Marion, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Glad to have you here. And right off the bat, I got to ask, we're coming up here. It's the end of summer. Kids are back in school. How has your summer been? Did you get away at all?
For June, the month of June, my son and I, we got a chance to do a little bit of a mini vacation here and there. And then I was right back at it in July because this is the prime time for me to work out. It is summertime. I have nothing to do but work out, rest, work out some more. So I've been hitting it pretty hard since then.
Good stuff. Well, at least you got some time off. I mean, it's good to, get away every once in a while, right? So that's good to hear. And, of course, you haven't fought since February. Have you sort of needed this time off, between now and, February? Or was this time that you wanted to get back in the cage? They just didn't have any fights for you?
I don't think I needed time off at all. I think, though, that looking at it 2020, being hindsight, it was a good idea for me to take some time off. I got a chance to do a lot of cross training with different athletes in different gyms, and I got a different outlook on things. And I think I'm better prepared now going into the fights and moving forward from now on.
What were some of the gyms that you cross trained at?
I cross trained with MMA Gold, Aspen Ladd. I don't know if you know who she is. She fights for Invicta. Got a chance to train with her. I trained locally here, One Kicks Gym, and then I also had a chance to actually train with Chris Cyborg. I went down to her gym and trained with her just recently. So I got a lot of great information, great looks, good training partners.
That sounds awesome. And obviously training with Cyborg, one of the best out there. So, I mean, you can only get better from that. So I think that's awesome. Your last fight, it was a controversial decision, split decision loss to Ashley Evans Smith at UFC Fight Night 83. I don't know if this makes you feel any better, but 16 MMA media members, if you go to MMADecisions.com, it scored the fight for you. A loss is never easy, but does it make it a little bit easier knowing that, the media at least thought you won that fight?
Hell no. Hell no. I want a victory, and if it could have happened, I would have wanted it overturned or relooked at or even a rematch because in my eyes, I completely won that fight. I know the judges confused us in the first round and gave her a 10-8 round when it should have been obviously a me for a 10-8 round, and that would have made a huge difference if they would have calculated it correctly. So in my eyes, 9 times out of 10, I would have won the fight. This was just her one chance that she won this fight. I feel like I won the fight. She got the decision.
Fair enough. And I think a lot of people would agree with you there just to watch the fight. And speaking of judging, we had some pretty questionable judging this weekend as well. UFC 203, Bethe Correia, Jessica Eye. A lot of people felt like Jessica Eye won the fight. How did you score that fight watching it at home?
I definitely believe that Jessica won the fight. I for sure thought she might have been moving back a little bit, but I do think she had a lot more quality hits. I think there were more significant strikes. I thought, in my eyes, I honestly thought Jessica won. And as soon as they made the announcement, I'm like, I know exactly what that feels like, girl.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so it was one of those things where I just hit social media, and I had been wanting to fight Bethe for a while now, and she hasn't responded. So I was like, might as well just go take it to social media. I hear she thinks Miesha Tate. No, stop. Just stop right there. Let's not do this right now.
Fair enough.
She wants to fight big name. She aspires to fight big name people, but doesn't bring a big name performance.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree. And you said you wanted to fight on that card in Sacramento, right? Would that sort of be best case scenario for you, is fighting Bethe Correia on that card?
Why not? It's here in California. I'll be representing the state of California. And it's just one of those things that, a lot of my family and friends could go to. So I think it would be a great fight and setup for us.
I agree. I think that would be very entertaining. Just looking at this fight, if it was to happen, how do you sort of feel you match up against her?
I definitely think I am a faster striker. I think I'm a stronger fighter. I think on the ground and the cage and my wrestling will outweigh hers. Especially with everything that I've been working with. I just feel I'm more of a well-rounded fighter than she is. I know she's aggressive, and that's fine. You can fight through aggression, and I like that. But I don't foresee her ever getting her hand raised if I was the one who was going to fight her.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel like you're the dark horse in the bantamweight division right now? Because, if you look at, like I said, the one loss, you shouldn't have had it. The other loss was to Holly Holm. No shame in that. You have looked impressive in all your fights. Do you feel like people are sort of overlooking you right now?
I do. I do feel like they are. And my mom tells me, and she says, you need to be patient because your time will come. And I don't need a lot of attention. I know a lot of people may need the attention from the medias. I don't need a lot of attention. I know what's going to come. I know that when I get into the cage, that's when I need the attention. That's when I need to go in there and represent what I've done and who I am. But as far as anything else, I do feel like I have been a little overlooked, and that's fine. But that's going to change very soon.
Good stuff. Has there been any dialogue with the UFC since you've had this time off? Have you kind of been on, ongoing discussions as far as when you're going to fight next?
We have. And there was an opportunity for me to fight on 10 days notice, or I think it was 12 days notice. And unfortunately, I was out of town during that time with my son during June months, and I wasn't going to be able to make it back in time. And so it was one of those things that it just collided. So after that, I made myself available. I got myself to where I need to be weight-wise, so that way if they do call me on short notice, I am available.
And without giving too much away, what do you feel like you've improved on the most since this time off? You mentioned that you feel like a much more prepared fighter. What are some of the things you feel like you're going to bring to the table in your next fight?
I feel like I'm a little bit more of an aggressive fighter. I feel like my killer instinct has been re-triggered, something that I needed in my last fight. Maybe that would have been the turning point between us, Ashley and I. I just feel like I've sharpened my tools for wrestling a little bit more too. So I just think, it's not me specifically working on anything specific because, again, mixed martial arts is a mixture of all the martial arts. And so I just want to stay fine-tuned and prepared for anything.
We certainly look forward to your return to the cage. Marion, I can't thank you enough for joining me here today. I just remind my audience where they can get a hold of you on social media. And if you got any thank yous or shout outs, anything like that, the floor is yours.
Right now, if you want to contact me, I'm on Snapchat, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook under Marion Reneau. And a shout out to all my girls at the Elite Team, Gym here in Visalia, and all my training partners.